Shawn.
Mike?
What is this? A crossover episode? Yowza, yowza, bobowza. That is the worst bit we've added to this intro.
You know what do you think by the end of this show, the intro will be like a minute long and just full of really bad
layers,
bits?
just layers upon layers of just nonsense.
Just bad
By season
stuff.
6, you guys are gonna have the other seasons will be required listening because we're just gonna be so full of nonsense. Anyway,
inside joke upon inside joke,
It's a joke within a joke. It's like an ogre. It has layers,
or
like an onion. Anyway, we are Mike and Shawn, the Squid Boys, and this is What Is This? A crossover episode. The show that we do about Bojack Horseman, Yowza Yowza Bobowza. Today we are reviewing. Wait, are we reviewing? We don't really review. We just.
I mean, I'd say if I like them or not.
That's true. Okay, we're reviewing. We're the topmost Bojack reviewers on the internet.
That's true.
We're reviewing season 2, episode 2, Yesterdayland. This episode has a 7.8 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Really?
Is that bad to you or good?
I think it's better than that. I really liked this episode.
I think you like Bojack Horseman more than most people, just like I do, Shawn.
Yeah. This episode isn't like, if you compare it to like last episode or the last couple episodes of the last season, like maybe it's not as well written or whatever as that, but this is a more normal like episode of a comedy.
Yeah.
Like, and I think as an episode of a comedy, it's much better than a lot of the episodes from season 1. And I still liked those. I like, this would be like a 9 for me. I loved this episode.
Wow. Okay. All right. Before we get into it, Shawn, we have to look back at what happened on July 17th, 2015, the day this episode released. Let's get the worst one out of the way, and that's that the number 1 song in the U.S. was "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth. That's true. Clearly the worst thing that happened on this day.
That's true.
And I don't like the joke I set up.
Yeah.
Scientists solved mystery of sleeping sickness in 2 villagers in northern Kazakhstan. Uranium mining had caused an increase in carbon monoxide.
Can you imagine being those people? Just, you're sleeping a lot, and you're like, what is causing this?
Why am I sleeping so much? Uranium.
Yeah. Uranium.
Suicide bomber in Khan Bani Saad, Iraq, kills 120. ISIS claims responsibility. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
Jules
that's
Bianchi,
the part. That's
French
the
auto racer, dies from injuries during an accident in 2014 Japanese F1 GP at 25. So he didn't get in the crash on this day, but he died from his injuries.
Yeah.
And then Owen Chadwick, English historian, priest, and university chancellor, dies at age 99.
Okay.
And Marvel's Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd as the titular character, is released. Oh, and the number 1 song in the UK was Black Magic by Little Mix. Don't know that song.
Ant-Man extremely relevant currently.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I guess I don't know when this episode's releasing, but...
Well, for us, it's current. Fuck the listeners.
We're still in January.
Give a shit. I don't give a shit about the listeners, Mike. What the fuck? You think I?
That's clear. That's absolutely clear. Crystal clear.
You think I care what they think?
Anyway, speaking of what people think, Shawn, what did you think of this episode? You kind of already said it, but you know, this is how we start it, so that's what we're doing.
I loved it. I thought, 9 out of 10. Really liked it.
Funny episode.
Very funny episode. A lot of good lines.
I would just like to say that this episode starts off with Bojack going on a bunch of blind dates, starting at his restaurant. But outside the restaurant, there is what appears to be a homeless raccoon bathing in the fountain.
What? No, I missed that. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's like a raccoon, and he's got like a beanie on, and he's washing himself in the fountain.
Hang on a second. I wear beanies.
Wait, what?
Wait.
You're a homeless man.
Apparently.
But Bojack goes on a series of blind dates, and the idea is that it's painting the fact that everybody knows who he is because of his book in a way he doesn't enjoy.
Yeah.
They want him to engage in self-destructive behaviors that he's done in his book. You know, so there's that kind of thing.
Yeah, let's just say the people that he's going on dates with probably enjoyed the 2019 film Joker.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Probably.
He even acquiesces and throws a fit for one chameleon woman. I don't even think he means to. I think he just,
just happens.
He, at the end, he goes, "Was that what you were looking for?" And she says, "Bring me home and don't let me get out of the bed till I'm horse colored," which is just the most disgusting chameleon body horror I can think of.
At least they didn't show it to us.
Right, that's true. Because then we were in Bojack's bedroom, and there's another woman there who he clearly just had sex with, and so I guess maybe he is doing it on purpose in hindsight. Like, hey, this is how he gets laid, but it's also bothering him. You can tell. And my favorite
he's
part
not
of
having
this,
a good time.
My favorite part of this is when the woman leaves and she goes, "Are you Todd?" And you can just hear it. And she goes, "Shut up, Todd." And he goes, "Oh, okay."
It's so good.
It's just fucking funny because, poor Todd. Speaking of Todd, he is finally finishing his building of his Disneyland, Shawn.
Okay, here's my question for you, Mike. Because we do this whole flashback thing where Todd has kept talking about Disneyland in the back. Has he ever mentioned Disneyland in the show?
No.
Or, okay. I just want to make sure. I do love this bit, though.
They do the bit where Bojack goes, "How come you've never told me about this?" And they show multiple times where he told Bojack about it, including one time where Bojack goes, "Todd, I get it. You're building a Disneyland." And then he goes, "I've never heard this before." They also do a throwback joke to earlier. A woman that he's on a date with asks, "Remember when you pissed in Drew Barrymore's car?" And he goes, "Yes, but how do you remember that?" And then they cut to when he's telling Diane, and they're obviously in the middle of writing the book, and he tells a story about someone getting clean, and that's why I had to piss in her car, which I thought was a funny little callback there.
I just like this idea that Todd has been gaslit into believing that Disneyland isn't a real place.
Right. All because Bojack didn't want to bring him to Disneyland.
Yeah, the way this storyline plays out is maybe one of my favorite things about this episode.
Yeah, it's really well done, and it really honestly, it's lampooning Disney as much as anything. Throughout the episode, which is pretty funny. Yeah. We'll get to that more. We cut to doctor's office where Mr. Peanut Butter's getting off his cone and for a $6,000 copay.
It's so well set up because the doctor's like, "Hey, you can take the cone off, or I can do it here for a copay," and then they go for a bit while he's taking the cone off, Yeah, he's all like, "Oh, it's gonna be $6,000." Immediately, it's they're talking about something else, and he's taking the coat off, and then the cone comes off. He goes, "That'll be $6,000."
Good thing you're getting the free sandwich from Storky's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which they've been 80+ times in what, 2 weeks? Did they say?
I think they said a month.
A month? Okay, that's not as bad, but still.
But that's going to feed into later where Diane is starting to feel a certain kind of way about herself and their relationship, that they're into a routine like a lot of married couples get into. So we'll pick that up later.
Diane is not one to be content in a routine, I don't think.
Right, that is true. I also like that he says, "Hey, honey, can you scratch my chin so I can think of things in the past?" just the most stupid fucking Mr. Peanut Butter thing. Bojack walks into the bar that he typically goes to, and it has signs outside that say, "This is featured in Bojack's book," blah, blah, blah. And there's just so many people in there waiting to take his picture, and he goes, "I'm sick of you vultures," and walks out, and there's actually two vultures at the bar that go, "I'm sure he's talking about other vultures." So he ends up at a roller skating rink. where he sees our good friend Pinky.
This was like Avengers Endgame when they all came through the portals. I just was like, Pinky the Penguin!
God, that's ridiculous.
I want to amend our Squid Game bit about the end of season 2. The portal opens and Pinky
Penguin also comes through, yeah.
Yeah.
Pinky is gotten out of print media and gotten into the broadcast network TV realm. This guy can't catch a break, huh?
No.
Just absolutely making terrible career choices in fields that are just absolutely dying.
And as he's saying it, he's like getting sadder and sadder, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah, he realizes the mistake he's made as he's saying it. But here we meet Wanda. A new love interest for Bojack, played by Lisa Kudrow.
Okay, I'm looking her up.
Friends fame. Wait, you don't know who Lisa Kudrow is?
Lisa Kudrow. Probably if I see her, how do you spell Kudrow?
Kudrow.
Oh. Wait, is this who? Oh, it's I know who this is. It's the blonde one.
Okay.
How many of them are blonde?
Yikes.
I think both aren't two of the girls in Friends blonde? I've never
Jennifer
seen Friends.
Aniston comes and goes from blonde to brunette.
Blonde. I know Friends only by
She's the dumb one in Friends. Like her character, not her as an actress. She's the one that sings Smelly Cat.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
It's a thing that happens in Friends. I don't either. I just know I just know. Anyway, Wanda is here, and Wanda's been in a coma for 30 years.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
How old is Wanda?
So Bojack's 50, right? We figured that out last season. So I'm assuming she got in a coma in her mid-20s.
Okay, that would make sense.
Mid to early 20s, and so she's around his age.
Yeah.
If you're an owl, you can hide it pretty well.
So I want to know what her job was 30 years ago. Because like they do the joke where they're talking about like, she wasn't fired for 30 years, but everybody else
above her
like
keeps
left.
getting fired, yeah.
So, she just ends up there. But like, I have to imagine she was like an assistant to somebody,
Right.
Like,
she was not anybody important,
like
and now she runs the whole thing.
Yeah. It's very good. And I love this flash they do to like her taking pitches.
Yeah, so she has the Kirk Cameron show, which is just funny. Because Kirk Cameron kind of looked like a huge star back in the 80s when she went into her coma.
Looking up Kirk Cameron. 1 second.
From Growing Pains.
No. Nope.
Man, this is ridiculous.
What do
I guess this is
less
crazy.
Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron said that such things as COVID-19 could be used by God to bring about his purposes.
Yeah. Kirk Cameron is now like a insane, like right-wing Christian guy.
Okay.
That's why it's kind of funny, because it's like not only is he not a huge star, but he just is he stars in all these like Christian movies where they don't show in theaters, just at churches, and
he has a Christian talk show too. Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty out there. There's also So You Think You Can Dance, which that pitch.
No, it was I Think You Can Dance.
Or I Think You Can Dance. Yeah, that's what it is. And then she pitches a special about David Copperfield making the World Trade Center disappear. And Pinky goes, ooh, hey, I hate to be the one to tell you, but Copperfield's not really a draw anymore. Not that the World Trade Center is gone, but that Copperfield isn't a draw.
That is another one of those jokes that is like written for me.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of bordering on a line,
Right. Right.
I was losing my shit.
That's one of the things about this show that I love, is that they do not shy away from going, hey, let's make a joke about the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
They lean into it, which again, you and I have similar feelings on that kind of humor.
Yeah.
So then Wanda, after all this talk about Wanda, she rolls up to Pinky and Bojack, and a song that everybody knows called Special Feeling begins to play. And I like this bit. They do it 3 times in the episode, which, rule threes and all that. But they they write a song basically about what's happening in that moment.
Yeah.
And Special Feeling's the first one where it talks about, the special feeling he feels from talking to her. And everything's glowing around her. And it's really just because she doesn't know who Bojack is.
Yeah.
Not because he's like, I can't, I'm not into owls, so I can't tell you if she's especially attractive or not. But it's really just about she doesn't know who Bojack is, and he's been on all these dates lately where everybody knows who he is and has preconceived notions about him, whether true or not. And he makes a great dad joke. You can lead a horse to roller, but you can't make him rink.
Yeah. I just really want to thank you for clarifying that you're not into owls.
I'm not really an owl guy.
Yeah. I'm glad that you had to voice that.
She also does a very subtle who bit where he goes, Bojack Horseman. She goes, who?
Yeah.
Who? Because she's an owl. Get it?
Yeah. No, I wrote who LMAO in my notes. I got it.
Okay. Nice. So then they, Bojack's about to rage about curly fries. And
sorry, but because I have this written down, but you skipped over a joke that I fucking loved, so I have to.
Okay.
I have to bring up where they're talking, and she's like, yeah, she says something about liking TV, and then she looks over his shoulder at the TV behind him and goes, holy shit, they're flat now.
Oh, yeah.
As if she didn't know until just then.
Yeah, what has she been doing? I mean, did she literally wake up days ago?
I guess. I don't know, but just the holy shit, they're flat now.
She's an executive at a high-ranking network television, broadcast network television. She doesn't know TVs are flat.
I'm sure that Bojack Horseman's writers aren't trying to say anything with this episode about network television, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're
definitely not.
It's like one of Netflix's lead shows, right? And so Netflix is, anyway. When you could argue that Netflix and these streaming services have just become network television, but different.
Not at that point, I don't think.
No, not at that point. But now it's. I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the same idea. But he goes to argue about why are there curly fries in my fries, but she's like, oh yeah, it's like we're getting away with something. It's a fun little thing, and he kind of stops, being himself to like rage against something and is like, oh, she likes this. This is good. But they end up getting out of there and going to Bojack's house. I
just wanted to bring this up because like it fits the theme of our show. She does say that she likes it when appetizers have a little crossover episode.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask you because whenever we run into these scenarios, I like to be like, ask Mike about this. What is your favorite appetizer crossover? Like if you're going somewhere and they're like, here's your appetizer, but they got a little extra in there. What do you want?
This is you're putting me on the spot here. I don't know. Okay, so this is very specific. I don't eat Burger King a ton.
Okay.
Because it makes my asshole feel some sort of way. Like there are like I can, if I didn't know, if someone while I was sleeping just like force fed me Burger King and I didn't know, if I smelled my fart, I could be like, I had Burger King. Like that's how specific it is. But, and a big part of that is if I have their onion rings, which there's no onion in Burger King onion rings.
No.
It's like onion slime fried, right?
Absolutely.
But, so I never order onion rings. But sometimes you get fries and there's a couple onion rings in there. And
I think getting the onion rings I think you're right. I think that's it.
I think that's the answer.
Because there was this burger place I used to go to that was like a little hole in the wall place, and I would order lunch from there when I was working. And sometimes you'd get a couple onion rings in your fries. And I think that was it. I think that was the goat of appetizer crossover episodes.
I agree. That was a great question, Shawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
They go back to Bojack's place and they spend all night sitting up talking. And Bojack looks and goes, "Oh my gosh, the sun's coming up and we didn't even have sex." And she's like, "Well, it's not too late." And then I like this little bit, a perfectly normal amount of time for someone Bojack's age later. And then he's freaking out because he doesn't normally, after he has sex with somebody, he doesn't normally want to spend time with them. And so he's having a bit of a panic attack and he goes, "Do you want to go to Disneyland?" And that leads us to Todd's Disneyland, the
There's a
greatest show
joke
on Earth.
There's a joke in that scene that might have been too far by today's standards. You know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, where she says, that was good. I haven't had sex in 30 years, I hope.
Yeah. She like waits between saying 30 years and I hope.
Yeah.
She's like, 30 years, I hope. And I was like,
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a little, that one.
That one, probably not today, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, we're at Disneyland, Disneyland. And I want to call out one of the attractions because it is a callback to something in season 1. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not off the top of my head.
So Gabe Jr., the Grease Fire of the Caribbean.
Okay.
So in season 1, Todd and Mr. Peanut Butter are arguing with Bojack that fires can be called things like the Chicago Fire.
Okay.
And Todd says, just, they can be named like Chicago Fire or Gabe. And they were like, Gabe? And he goes, just a fire I met once. I named him Gabe. And so Todd named this Grease Fire Gabe Jr.
Yeah. I love it.
In a reference to his other fire friend, Gabe.
It's very, very heartening.
Yes. Another one of my favorite, they have the Death Coaster where they worked death into the name for liability reasons. Smart. Because you probably will die on it. And then the mattress pile. And I like the sign that says beware of bed bugs.
Yeah.
And then the bed bug jumps up and takes the little kid and he's like, help! So fucking ridiculous.
Like earlier when Pinky the Penguin showed up, I also had an Avengers Endgame reaction to Vincent Adult Man appearing.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
And I love when Princess Carolyn is like, he just got his adult braces, and Bojack is like, you mean braces?
Yeah, you just mean braces, right?
Princess
Carolyn, you're embarrassing me.
I love that his braces are like colored, like they have different, like they're rainbow, they're like pink and purple.
Yeah,
and blue.
Clearly not adult braces.
No, they're children's braces, but it's really good.
So, they exit the scene, Mr. Vincent Adultman and
Mr. Adultman.
Princess Carolyn. And Diane, I don't remember what Diane says, but she says something about it's not even really a negative comment, but just something about the danger. Oh, you shouldn't have the mattresses so close to a grease fire, those greasy mattresses. And Wanda goes, wow, your friend is so negative. And Mr. Bojack, why do I want to keep calling people Mr.? Bojack goes, wow, yeah, Diane, you're really negative. And Diane's just like, what the fuck? Because it's like, that's not Bojack, obviously.
No, it isn't.
We cut to Mr. Peanut Butter telling Todd how proud he is of him and how this is a cool thing. And basically, though, strong-arming his way into Disneyland, Todd's Disneyland. Because
he says he has right of first refusal or whatever.
And the bees come up like they're going to start cracking knuckles and stuff. And he says he has right of first refusal and he wants in. And then Erica, you can't be here. This place is filled with children.
It's like, oh my God.
Oh, man. We got to love the Erica bits. So then we cut to Secretariat, the filming of Secretariat, which is happening, by the way. And as Bojack's filming a scene with Corduroy Jackson, Wanda shows up and he stops the scene and goes, hey, my girlfriend's here. Look, guys, I have a girlfriend. And they're all lovey-dovey and gross in front of everybody. And Diane is talking to Kelsey Jennings and says, oh, it's of course the next person Bojack dates is someone who's stunted at the age of 20 because of their coma or whatever. And Kelsey Jennings gives kind of this thing that also shakes Diane again about everything that she's been thinking about with the Storky's restaurant and all that, about an age of stagnation. Like, you don't have to be a celebrity to have an age of stagnation. It's typically when people get married, they become stagnant. And so it's just literally like tailor-made for how Diane's feeling right now. And so I don't think they even touch on this the rest of the episode.
No, I think it's just building.
They're building to later episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're just building to later episodes, but that's the last of that plot point for this episode. We cut to Bojack and Wanda at an 80s diner or a 50s diner, which was so popular in the 80s that it's a perfect place for someone who went into a coma in the 80s. And the radio starts playing a song called I Just Met My Perfect Match. And Bojack and Wanda are staring at each other, and you're like, oh, this is nice. And then the needle skips when they meet Alex, who is also happened to be in a coma for the last 30 years. And the song starts over with them staring at each other. I just met my perfect match. Alex really trying to rizz up Wanda here in front of Bojack, talking about how much they have in common. Bojack makes the comment, you guys have one thing in common. You can't count every little thing that because of that counts as something in common. That's like saying me and Kanye West are the same because we both breathe air.
Yeah.
And then they go, who? Jinx, you owe me a Coke Zero. What's a Coke Zero? I don't know, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, I liked that too.
A stupid bit. But I like the Kanye West comment holds more weight than ever.
Yeah, oh yeah, it does. Oh yeah.
Yikes. So we cut to, they're on the way home, and Bojack's being his typical gel self, and Wanda senses it and is like, hey, I don't like this. Don't do this. But he can't help himself. So he starts staking out Alex's place and tells Princess Carolyn to meet him here because she goes, wait, where's the next Haley Joel Osment? So he baited her there by saying the next Haley Joel Osment is here. And then they go, there'll never be another Haley Joel Osment. Which, we're Kingdom Hearts fans. So
Yeah.
Haley Joel, gotta love him.
Haley Joel, dude.
And we find out in a strange turn of events that Alex is a KGB agent who was on undercover duty in America when he went into his coma, and he's trying to get a hold of the motherland, and he cannot. Slap my salami, the guy's a commie.
Yeah, what a fucking left turn that this guy turns out to be a fucking KGB agent. I was like, oh my god, okay, let's fucking go. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah. We then cut back to Disneyland, where Todd is approached by Mr. Peanut Butter and some lawyers, because Mr. Peanut Butter looked into, hey, is what we're doing here legal? And it turns out it is not, because Disneyland is obviously copywritten. What is it? We go to the courtroom where there is an otter proceeding as the judge, and the sloth at one point says, "You're Otter," and it made me laugh. I don't know why. Stupid. And Todd looks like he's losing this case, and then he happens to go, maybe they accidentally just took out a copyright for the a wrong thing, like there was a typo. And sure enough, Walt Disney himself copyright DIISNEYland, not Disneyland.
Fucking love this bit. He's like, there's no way that there was a typo, right? And I'm like, please let there be a typo. Let there be a typo. And I was like, there's a typo. Let's go. I love that it's such a fucking stupid way of resolving this problem.
It is.
But it's so good.
And also when you consider that Disney for years now has been affecting laws to make it so they don't lose the rights to Mickey Mouse, so he doesn't become public domain. So there's a lot of undercurrent of that kind of shit, where it's like, of course Disney would fuck that up in this world. And also my favorite line of the episode, not to spoil anything, but the sloth lawyer gets up and says, "Your Otter, this is a gross miscarriage of justice." And Todd goes, "Hooray, gross miscarriage."
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Cut back to Bojack's having a party for what presumably is Todd's legal victory. And Mr. Peanut Butter and Todd have a conversation where Mr. Peanut's like, "We did it." And he's like, "No, I did it." And Todd's kind of being a little cutthroat in the same way Mr. Peanut Butter was to him. And he says there's only room for one goofy dog there, and that's Pluto. What a stupid fucking bit.
It's great.
He's gonna say Goofy.
Well, it's great for us as well as Kingdom Hearts fans, because we've always been like, what the fuck? Why does Goofy get to walk around and Pluto's like a normal dog? So just to hear this bit of one goofy dog and his name is Pluto, I don't know. It made me think of that, of the Goofy versus Pluto thing. I was like, yes.
Yeah. And also, he says it's just good business, which Mr. Peanut Butter said to him earlier. And I'm like, is that because Gabe, the Fire, the Caribbean? Like, is there like an undercurrent of the Pirate of the Caribbean movies here going on? You know, like it's just good business. I don't know. This just made me think of that. So we find out the real reason this party exists is because Bojack wants to out Alex as a Soviet sleeper agent. And Alex admits to it, and he doesn't admit to not wanting to destroy their country or anything. He's not like, oh, I'm reformed now. He just says, you know, hey, if you don't want to like me because of that, then Soviet. And everybody goes, aw. And Bojack's like, no. He also says, Wanda gets mad, and Bojack and her argue, and she goes, Alex, can you take me to my sister's house? And he goes, yeah, but I won't go fast because or I'll get you there fast because I'm always rushing. And everybody's like, aw. It's like, what the fuck?
It's insane. It's insanity.
It's insanity. Also, I want to point out the banner that Bojack hung for Todd. Says, oh, no, they disn't. You know, like Disney.
No, I got it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite joke in the episode, but it's pretty good.
They can't, you know, you can't always have good opinions, Shawn, I guess. So Bojack is upset. He's laying in his workout gear that he clearly didn't go run. Beer's surrounding him, and he calls Princess Carolyn over, and he says, hey, can you get me a beer? I didn't want to get up. Actually, no, I don't deserve the beer. And Princess Carolyn goes, so you called me all the way over here to not get you a beer? And they have this conversation where Princess Carolyn basically says, hey, you need to go win her back. And so that's what he goes and attempts to do at Disneyland, where for some reason Wanda and Alex are there roasting marshmallows, and Todd's mopping the death coaster. And as Bojack's about to, you know, confess how he feels to Wanda, Mr. Peanut Butter interrupts to apologize to Todd for the way he's acted. And they kind of like, and Alex comes to the conclusion that capitalism will eat itself, and so he doesn't need to bomb Disneyland.
He says, I came here today to blow up Disneyland, but now I realize I don't need to take down capitalism. Capitalism sows the seeds for its own destruction. It's a snake that eats itself. It's only a matter of time.
He just wanders off. And as this is going on, what starts the fire? Does Todd drop something?
I think somebody takes out a support beam.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Peanut Butter says, I should have supported you like this support beam. And he leans on it and it falls over. And then Todd drops his mop. And so that causes Gabe Jr. to spread to the mattresses. And shit's hitting the fan. And Todd yells, bees, help me out. And they do this like anime thing of the bees sprouting their wings from the clothes. Yeah. And they just fucking fly off. And Todd's like, no, bees. So fucking funny.
I love Mr. Peanut Butter's like, I'm gotta go get help, and he goes to firefighters, and they're like, I think he's trying to tell us something. What is it, boy? Some kid fell down a well, guys. I think he's trying to tell us that some kid fell down a well.
So the firefighters just go to the fucking well, wherever that is. They don't go to During this, Bojack's trying to give his speech to Wanda. She's like, hey, this place is like falling apart. Are you sure this is the right time? He goes, I don't care. And he ends his speech with, you make me want to be a better man. And she goes, wow, that's good. Did you just come up with that? And he lies and says yes, because of that, of course, is Jerry Maguire's line in the movie Jerry Maguire, which we know Bojack is a fan of that movie. And then I love the DJ says, just like the Titanic, I'm going to continue to play to go down with the ship as my DJ booth burns. And he plays the final song in our trilogy of songs that are just about what's going on. And it's Every Dog Has Its Doggone Day. And it's a heroic song about Mr. Peanut Butter who he saves Todd. Correction. He doesn't just save Todd. He saves the both of them, Shawn. And
yes, that's true.
That's true. And they save. And then the episode ends with everything falling apart and Wanda and Bojack deciding to move in together, but Bojack instantly regretting it. Like frame one.
Absolutely.
Regretting it. And that's how the episode ends. What an episode of television.
It's very ominous at the end. Yes. But I love it. Loved it. Great episode.
Great episode. I agree. Yeah, so that was the episode, Shawn. I liked it a lot. A lot of good bits, a lot of good jokes. I guess we should probably do our categories, right?
Yes. What was your favorite animal-based joke of the episode?
It's either the homeless raccoon that you didn't see,
yeah,
the bed bug, or the vultures. I like all three of those very much.
Yeah, mine might be the vultures. I don't,
He's probably talking about other vultures.
I thought that was so funny. I also really love what is he, because I think I think the stuff with Mr. Peanut Butter and the firefighters.
I was just going to say the Lassie bit is pretty good with Mr. Peanut Butter.
I think that works as an animal-based joke. I think that's my favorite.
Also, I love your otter. So there's a lot of good animal-based jokes in this one. They came hard with the animal-based jokes.
Yeah.
I can't pick one of those. They're all good.
Any of those, yeah.
Yep.
What's your favorite bit from the episode overall?
It's got to be the fucking World Trade Center David Copperfield joke. I sighed because I'm a predictable ass bitch, but damn it, you're gonna get me with a fucking 9/11 joke every time.
And what's your favorite quote from the episode?
God, am I gonna say "Hooray, gross miscarriage"? That might be my answer. I really like. It's not a good quote, but I really like the "Shut up, Todd." Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you know what? I'm going with the gross miscarriage. Or you know there's room for only one goofy dog there, and that's Pluto. I like that one.
That is a good one. I'm going to go with, I came here today to blow up Disneyland, but now I realize I don't need to take down capitalism. Capitalism sows the seeds for its own destruction. It's a snake that eats itself. It's only a matter of time. It just reminds me of the Santa Claus conversation from, like... from the Christmas episode where they're like, why would he let us do it? Just where the show takes on like a fucking really serious topic out of nowhere.
Right.
And I love it when it does that.
Yeah. And this, we tend to have episodes where there's like some monologue that makes you feel like dog shit, right? Like, Bojack sadness or whatever. But this one's like a very, like, it's not even a full monologue. It's just kind of a guy saying his thought, which I guess that's what a monologue is, but it's not like serious, right? But it also touches on, it's criticizing something in the same way the Santa Claus one was. And it's pretty good. I agree. All right. I guess that's going to do it for this episode 2, Yesterdayland.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Alex is voiced by Joel McHale of Community fame and other things.
Oh.
Just a fun little fact for you.
I do love Joel McHale. I do love Community. One of my hopes and dreams is one day after we finish this show, I'll trick you into doing Community.
That'd be quite a trick.
It would be.
That'd be quite a trick. So next episode is called Still Broken.
Okay.
A funeral turns into a treasure hunt for the Horseman Around cast and potential schmooze fest for Princess Carolyn and Mr. Peanut Butter. Meanwhile, Todd briefly reinvents himself.
Okay, I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, so we're gonna... Shawn, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Shawn_AFK. Everything that I do is on there.
And you can follow me at SpikeGhetti Bros on Twitter. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you guys later.
And then I have to say, do I have to say the thing now?
Yeah, see, we don't have like a good... I'm used to a podcast where I go, all right, say it. And then the person says it. I don't know what to do here. So I think you should just say it.
All right, well, suck a dick, dumb shits.
Yowza, yowza, bobowza. Bye.